Welcome to the Diary of Dating Over 50 with Tanya R. Lewis, the hottest dating show on social media, hosted by the sassiest model of them all, Tanya R. Lewis. Are you 50 and single, dating or waiting to mingle? Be a guest on the Diary of Dating Over 50 with your host, Tanya R. Lewis.
Hi, Mom. I miss you. I truly, truly miss you. Mother's Day is just never the same without you. But I just hope that you are proud of me with all of my accomplishments and that you're proud of my son and daughter, Catrice and Brandon, and your 8 beautiful grandchildren. I truly miss you, love you dearly. I want you to continue to rest in heaven, and thank you for being my angel.
This is Tanya R. Lewis with the Diary of Dating Over 50. I'm hearing some echo. Anyway, that was Joyce. Joyce said some special things about her mom. We will have some more videos throughout our show tonight. The show is going through Mother's Day when your mom is not here with us. Today, we're talking about a particular sensitive topic, Mother's Day, when your mom is no longer with you. I have, and y'all know how I like to do it, I like to allow people to introduce themselves because they know more about themselves than I do. So first, I want to introduce Marnita, the Runway Diva. Tell us a few things about yourself, Marnita.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marnita, the Runway Diva. So I'm blessed for one, I'm just blessed just to be where I'm at. I work, I play, I travel, I do everything that God allows me to do. Lost my mom at 48 years and my grandmother at 23 years. So today has been rough.
Okay, but we're gonna work through it because we have my girl, Dr. J.
Hey, it is your girl, Dr. Hazel J, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm otherwise known as Transformation Lifestyle Coach, well, Grief Transformation Lifestyle Coach, and I'm just excited to be here and to help, just help the ladies be able to celebrate the memories of their mom. Of their mom or their grandma or mom figure. I'm just super excited to be here, and I look forward to being able to give all of what God is going to give me to share out to all of you to help you heal from the inside out.
Thank you. I just adore you. Okay, so my first question for Marnita, and the reason that I brought Marnita on, y'all know she's one of my closest friends. However, also because she lost her mom at a very young age. Then it was tag team with her grandmother. So Marnita, can you give us one of the memories of your mother? I know you was 15, 16 years old, but you like an elephant. You hold stuff in your head. So I know you remember some things.
Right. So my mom, she loved Muhammad Ali. So every week we went to either a movie or a drive-in to go see Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
And that was just so much. And I know everything about Muhammad Ali. Every time he won, the problem with other people had with Muhammad Ali, and she just loved Muhammad Ali.
So your mama had the hots for Muhammad Ali, huh?
Okay, although stepdad was with us.
So he understood the assignment. He understood the assignment. Stepdad understood.
He
understood the assignment.
One of the two, right?
Okay, so how did you typically celebrate Mother's Day with your mom when she was living?
Well, when my mom was living, so my family, because my grandmother, so she was the major person in our lives, right? So we all celebrated Mother's Day, birthdays, everything, all the time with our parents when we were growing up. So we always had parties at my grandmother's house. So because although my mother, I wasn't with my mother, but my grandmother raised me since I was 3 years old, but my mother came and got me every day. It was crazy, right? And so anytime we
Wow.
celebrated was at my grandmother's house, and all the family, my aunts, I had 2 aunts, and then all their kids and everything. So it's always at my grandmother's house.
Okay. Can you tell us what did your mother pass from?
What did she pass? Why?
Yeah. What did she pass from? How did she pass?
So my mother had cancer in her throat. And I was forced to go at least 3 times a week to go see her in the hospital. Once I did, and that's crazy, right? Because she was at the hospital and she was a smoker. So I used to go bring cigarettes, right? And they was like, you can't smoke in here. And so we'll smoke and they'll put me out and I'll come the next day. And it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I had a grandmother that had lung cancer too. And the craziest part about it is she would put a cigarette in her trach and smoke it.
Wow.
And that left me feeling some kind of way. Dr. Hazel, can you put some light on this for us?
Well, I was taking some notes.
I know you always taking them notes.
Listen, you got to figure out how to make stuff work when your memory ain't work. I don't got the memory of an elephant, so
we don't either. We old.
I do want to offer this though. I know it's Mother's Day, right? And we tend, or society has tend to put an emphasis on that, but there's 364 other days in the year, right? And if we are able to make it through the 364, not in the same way on the 365th day, and if we can do that, then we can make it through this day too, right? It's a matter of how are we choosing to acknowledge, what are we giving what are we giving this specific day the energy to? Are we wanting to say, hey, this is how I miss and I understand, I get it, like I'm not doing that, but so let me say this, let me ask you this before I even go into that, because I don't want to overstep. Is your goal to be able to heal through this, so this doesn't become a day that makes you sad and feel some kind of way inside? Are you wanting to move past that? Or are you scared to move past that? Because if you move past that, then it's like you're forgetting your mom and your grandma. Like, where are you right now in this moment?
So
I need to answer that, please.
Yes, it's funny that you asked that, because so my depression was during the holidays from November to February, which was my mom's birthday, February 17th. My depression was always that every time. And so Mother's Day, although like during the day I would cry and all of that, but then I would think about my mom and my grandmother and how I lived with them and how they were in my life and how they made me the woman that I am today. So Mother's Day helps me more than any other day.
Oh, it does help you. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So then if that being the case, then using Mother's Day as a way to really hone in and remind yourself of all of what your grandma and your mom put into you, and let and fertilize that, right? Grow that piece, right? So when those months come, the November to February, it's able to carry you, if that makes sense, right? And you can take ownership of it. I know this is Mother's Day, but because she said this part, I is it okay for me to touch that part of her depression for those months? Is that okay?
Hold on for a minute, because some questions I'm going to ask is going to be able to dig in and give you more information.
Okay. So yeah, so just to
All right.
answer that piece of it, just think about, really focus on the awesomeness of today, and you visualize that, and really just sink into that piece of it, and just hold on to that, and let that carry you over and over and over and over.
Thank you.
Okay. So for those of us that are dating over 50, Mother's Day can bring up a lot of complex emotions. What are some of the feelings you're experiencing this year? And you said something around the holidays. But it's going to take me into this question. How has the loss of your mother affected your approach on dating and relationships?
Wow.
I know. Yeah, you know I was
Yeah,
gonna get deep.
I know, right? And so my thing is like with dating, I always try to tell men, all I want you to do is be committed, loving, and caring. I can care less about what you have or what is that, because I need to be loved, because I don't have my mom or my grandmother. So that's major for me, for a man to come in my life. It's like you can't replace my mom, my grandmother, or my dad, but you can make me feel that you love me like my parents did.
Wow. So you have experienced a lot of loss, Marnita. You know, your mom, your grandmother, your brother, which I adored, and then a soulmate that you met, and you get ready to go off in the sunset, man, and then all of a sudden he's gone too. How does all of this loss, affect Marnita?
Whew. Wow. So, like you said, with me losing my soulmate on the 5th, it was 9 months since he's been gone. And like you said, my brother's 2 years. So it's just so devastating, because I've never, when my soulmate died, he died. We went to Michael Jackson's event, and he died the next day, unexpectedly. So all my family members, when they passed, they were sick for months and months and months. So we go through that. That's devastating. So devastating with me in my life. And then the other thing that's devastating, my mother died on my lap, my grandmother died on my lap, my grandfather died on my lap, and my stepdad died on my lap. So I have a lot of mental, emotional stuff going on in my life. Although my grandmother always told me, never let them see you sweat. But I share that with people that come into my life, what I go through.
Yeah. Loss is heavy. I think because I was in full fledged of my addiction when my parents died, I had been the person that was always there for my parents anytime they had a surgery or whatever was going on. But because I own my own business, I was able to go home and help with them. And the last year of both of their illness, I was in my addiction. So you can't be there for them because the dope won't allow you to. And I think that's why I beat myself up Mother's Day, because I had 30 days clean, experience, and haven't had to deal with these losses. And, and then my siblings, half of them that were never around, all of a sudden wanted to step up and take control of everything. And I felt defeated. So I think that's some stuff inside me that I got to work through, because it was not my fault because my parents died, but I feel like it was my fault because I wasn't there. So Dr. Hazel J., how do we start to peel through some of that loss? How do we start to, I know we got to take baby steps, and I know Marnita and I both, because we're a lot alike, think we done dealt with it, and we tell folks how we want them to treat us. We tell people we good. Her grandmother told her never let them see you sweat. My mother told them I'm a beast, don't worry about them. So that's the kind of persona that we take on. But how do you just be a lady? You just work through that loss and the hell of what people think about you.
Well, that's it right there. That's it right there. I tell clients all the time, like, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. It's not. And if anyone tells you that there is, they're lying.
Mm-hmm.
They're lying. 1 minute you're going to be okay, and in that same moment you can break down and cry. Yesterday I broke down and cried. Like I was just on one. I was screaming. I was on one. Was on one, and tears just started flowing down my face, and then just a whole bunch of stuff was happening. I was like, what in the world? But see what so while it's that grief, there's also other grief, right? Because now it's because we've been told by the people we love that's no longer here that you gotta look this way, you gotta sound this way, you gotta protect. Oh, I'm good. When you hear that, it's kind of like if you don't follow through with that, it's like you're letting them down and you're losing a piece of them. And so I'm here to say that it's okay. That's how they believe that it needed to be for them. And you get to make a decision on how you want it to be for you. You can look at your own life and determine, is it serving you or not? Is it serving to say, hey, I'm good, I'm a beast, I'm good, I'm good. Is that really serving you? Or do you feel like, like I'm alone and I wish somebody got me or get me or would just be here? But how can somebody get you or be here if you keep telling them, you lying to yourself and to them, like I'm good, when you ain't? And it's okay. It's okay. You want to, because when you're lying to yourself and to them, how are you able to heal through it? You're wearing a mask. I just did a portrait on the importance of taking off the mask. We're putting on this mask of I'm strong, I can handle it. Listen, it's grief, it's life. We're going to grieve, we're going to lose. And when it's complex in that way, right? Or when we have regrets or we have shame or we have guilt, around either if we weren't there the way we thought we should have been, or if we didn't say the right thing when we could have. It could be anything that we can find to support our grief, and then we want to hold on. It's like I tell my clients all the time, it's okay to release and still hold on to them. You can hold on to their beautiful memories, right? You can continue their legacy without holding on to, I'm sad, I gotta cry, it gotta be a sad day. When they die, this has to be the saddest moment of my life. It doesn't have to be. You can reframe it. You can say, you know what, every February 17th is the best day of my life. And I'm gonna do something I'm gonna go find a Muhammad Ali old school video, VHS, and go watch it. Right? I'm gonna go I'm gonna find somebody to paint me Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna make a game scramble out of Muhammad Ali. Like, you can do whatever you want to on February 17th, right? When you feel those emotions coming up, it's nothing to be like, you know what? Who says I gotta be sad? Who says I
absolutely.
Who says that? reframe it. Because what we do know, whether we want to accept it or not, what's guaranteed to happen is you're guaranteed to be birthed and you're guaranteed to die. And it's up to us in between to figure out how we're going to carry the legacy of the person that's no longer physically here. How do we carry them in our truth? How do we carry them in how we show up in life, in our purpose? How do we do that? Right? And you can't do that if you mourning and being like, oh, woe is me. Ain't no way you could do it on that day.
Yeah. So let's lighten this up a little bit. Marnita, can you tell me the funniest? What was funny about your mother and your grandmother? Something they did. Okay, so let me say this. My mother and grandmother both, if you swept them with a broom, they swore up and down they was gonna go to jail if they didn't spit on it. Okay. Crazy, right? So what was funny about your mother and grandmother? Some good memories of them.
Wow. So one thing about, like I said, one thing about my mom, it was just how, like I said, how she loved Muhammad Ali, because no women love Muhammad Ali like my mom did. And my grandmother, it was how she liked to track. So here was the thing. We went to the track she went to the track every day. And that's how I became financially smart, because I had to help her, because she was only a third grade education, and I had to teach her how to look at the and be how, you know, how when you go to the track.
Y'all was gambling. You and your grandmother was gambling.
Girl, bye. So we gambled.
That means you became a mathematical genius. You became a mathematical genius.
Family was gamblers, you know, and then even with, you know, the lottery, right? And so the ironic part with that is like, so I used to play the lottery every day, right? $10, $15. I played the lottery. And remember, then the lottery started coming twice a day. Yeah. And I told my grandmother, I said, Grandma, I'm quitting. She like, no, you ain't. You can't quit. I was like, I ain't got $30 to play every day, right? And that's when I quit the lottery. But she didn't. Right? She started playing twice a day.
Wow. Okay, so that's how you became so good with numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So
but again, remember, at 8 years old, I started balancing her bank account.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me something. What are some specific things that you do to honor your grandmother and mother? Because I know both of them raised you, so I can't say one without the other.
So both of them, you know, with like when people come to me and talk to me about, you know, Marnita, you this and you that, and you're so good. And I was like, because it's my mother and my grandmother. I'm just them. Right? I'm not Marnita. I'm Marnita, Ann, and Lily. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. So what do you do to honor them? Like something that it might be something even mental, you know.
Yeah. So for me to honor my grandmother and all of them, it's like just daily, I think about both my parents, you know, even all the people that I love. But with my grandmother and my mother, it's so ironic that you said, what do I honor them? I honor them just every day. I think about them, no matter what. You know what I mean? Some days are really, 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 really good and happy and loving, and you know, and I'm happy. And then some days I'm depressed and crying, but it's okay, because it's just showing me I still care and I miss my grandparents, my mother and my mom.
Wow. And that had to be, did you ever use one against the other? Like if your grandmother didn't say yes, you go to your mother?
So, right. So the thing was, due to the fact, like I said, my mother, because my mother was an alcoholic, right? And so, and then when my mother passed, that's when I became an alcoholic and an addict.
Yeah.
But when my mom would come get me, my grandmother was like, well, she needs to come. Y'all need to bring her back at a certain time, because I had to go to school. And my mom was like, whatever. Right? Like, so I couldn't argue with neither one of them or debate with neither one of them. on how they treat each other, right? I was like,
Right.
Grandma, I'm just going to hang out with Mom, right? So,
Wow.
and the blessing was my grandmother just allowed it, and then for her to pass when I was 15, it was crazy,
So your grandmother didn't trust her with you, huh? She probably didn't trust nobody with you.
Because she was alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and then because like when they came and got me, my grandmother and grandfather came and got me and my brother. My mother and my father was drunk, and I was 3 years old, and I walked across the street to the bar at 3 years old. And my brother was 8 years old. He stayed in an apartment. And then I came back, and then my brother burnt my hair.
Wow. Okay. So how now your brother, did he grow up in the house with your mom and
No,
your grandmother?
my grandmother got me and my brother
Okay.
because my mother and my dad were alcoholics.
Wow. And your brother and you became alcoholics.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Wow. So do you tell me?
And my brother was no joke.
Oh yeah, I met him.
Right?
So do you think that played a part in your dating?
What, having my brother, the brother that I had?
No, just the alcoholism from your parents.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
that played a major role because it was I never trust no one.
yeah, them trust factors. Oh, I have trust issues sometimes too. Dr. Hazel J, can you talk about the family and alcoholism and how it affects us adult women and men on dating? How we may carry some of that into those relationships?
I was just putting some notes in the chat.
I seen the note. I was trying to peek at
them. So like there's two styles of loss, right? You have the secure loss where it was more you're able to be like, oh, you know what, she's gone or he's gone, but it's okay. It was more on the healthier side, right? And then you have that insecure loss. The insecure loss is what impacts adversely relationships, because that's when you're questioning the security. You tend to end up in abusive, neglectful type relationships. You tend to second guess, and even when you want something better, you end up still connecting to what's familiar. Has that been true for you at all at any point in your life? Even when you know that this is not good, he's not good, you ain't good, but you keep going back to it because in that toxicity, right? It still was a security within the familiarity of what you were already experiencing. And so that's why it's very important to be able to sometimes mother yourself, or go back to your little girl self and help her understand that she's safe now.
Wow.
And that you can make healthy decisions for her, and that you are here to protect her. You go back to that little girl self and you bring that to her, and then she's able to stop trying to really overshadow your grown self, right? Because a lot of times we are walking in an adult body, but we're being carried by the most that the younger version of us that was impacted the most, that was hurt the most. That's the part that tends to carry us until we're healed from that. So if you look back, and I can be wrong, because I can be wrong. If you look back, you would probably see the similarities between when you were 15 and the behaviors and what you were attracted to, and how that, even though you're an adult now, how that in some cases mirrors what you're doing now, or you'll be able to see the correlation between it. I don't know. Am I wrong or am I somewhere in there?
So for me, my problem was my father never being in my life. So when my grandmother got me at 3 years old, I never saw my father ever again. And so
Wow.
And so when I got in relationships, I always wanted a man, I wanted him to love me like a father would love me, although you're not my father. And so I was in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out of relationships because they would never, ever love me like I think a father would love me, if that makes sense.
Your
It was
So,
perception.
so depressing.
but you do know that, and maybe you don't. I wonder if you know now that there's no man on this earth that is going to be able to love you the way that you hope that your father did, right? And even if your father never left, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some part of him that still didn't meet your expectation.
Wow.
So
And you're right.
how
You're
do
right.
you move past that? Write a letter. Write a letter to yourself through what you would say. So you're going to mother your little girl self, telling her about her father. Do that for yourself so you can heal, because at the end of the day, and I understand where you're coming from, I get it, right? But well, with me getting it, I'm going to say this. You are, how old are you? Do you mind?
63.
Oh, wow. You look super good. Ooh, wait. Look like you. Hold up. Hold up.
Yes. We the 60 club, honey.
Oh, man. Listen, I ain't even made the 50 club yet.
This what you get when you get 60 and
That's
older.
Listen, hold up. I gotta.
Let me ask the question real quick.
Okay, but
Let me ask a question real quick. Why didn't your grandmother allow you to see your dad?
Huh?
I said, why didn't your grandmother allow you to see your dad?
It wasn't that my grandmother didn't allow me to see my dad. My dad didn't allow us to see him no more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He just, when we left and he left my mom, I never seen him again. And then he died when I was 21, and he wanted me to come to Chicago to see him because he was in treatment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't get to see him because I didn't know, I was out of town, and I went there, and he wanted me to leave the airport and come see him instead of him coming to the airport and come and see me.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. My dad left at a young age too, and when he left, when he came back in a pine box, and it took them 2 years to find us, and they finally found him from his dental records because he was in the service, and so my thing of men, when I think all men is going to leave me, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad, and not come back, and I've had to work through that because that has been an issue for me, because I'm like, okay, how do I know that's my dad? Y'all didn't have an open casket. I didn't get to see him. So, and I was so angry with my mother because I wanted my mother to make them open the casket up for me. And let me see, but of course they wouldn't. But yeah, but so that's another compound on a loss of us with mothers, grandmothers, your soulmate that passed, and then your dad. Ask a question. How does it feel when you see other people celebrating their mothers in a way, because I normally don't like to go around Mother's Day things, you know what I'm saying? Because I struggle, because not only is it Mother's Day, it's my birthday and it's my mom's birthday. So I kind of don't want to go around all of that. I just want to be over here in my corner and deal with it on my own. How do you deal with that, Marnita?
So that's the blessing that I deal with, because I try to tell everybody, if you have your mother in your life, enjoy every day you can be with your mom. And if people invite me to like their mother's birthday or something like that, I show up, because I love people that have their mothers in their life. Because you, especially the way we live in today's world, we don't know what tomorrow gonna bring, right?
Yeah.
So I try to tell people, love your mom the best you can. I don't care what she go through, what you've been through with her and all of that. Love her, because
So do you feel like you overcompensate with a man that has a mom that is living? Do you try to like interject yourself into their life because you don't have your mom here?
No, that's the only thing, because you remember my brother was a fine brother, and he cheated, right? So I think every man that I be with, they gonna cheat anyway.
They gonna cheat anyway.
So when they cheat, I leave and I go to the next. I go to the next. I've been doing that all my life, and I've been trying not to do. Now recently, I don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, because I mean, this is about Mother's Day, but we're also my primary reason of being here is being the Diary of Dating Over 50 is to navigate through that as well. And I know some of your record of how you date. Your exit game is cold. If about like mine. My exit game is cold, baby.
Right.
If you act up, soon as that man acted up in Tennessee, I was out. I ain't care if it was 2 months before the wedding. But but with you, how have you tried to change that? To be able to not exit so fast.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that, because my problem is, once I have this feeling that you're not with me, you don't want to be with me, you're not committed to me, I need to leave, because I'm emotionally attached to you anyway. Because my grandmother and my grandfather, they just loved each other. Oh my God. And my grandmother was no joke to my grandfather. And my grandfather, oh my God. And he did everything she told him to do, when and how and whatever the case may be. And so that helped me. That's what I always wanted. I wanted a relationship like my grandmother and my grandfather.
Yeah, my mom and my dad had my bonus father. They had a great relationship. Some would say they didn't, but I seen them in the best light. Dr. Hazel J, I know you got a lot of notes because I see this chat popping up.
So, Doctor, are you married?
Dr.
I'm
Hazel
not
J,
married anymore. I'm divorced.
You're not married anymore?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not married anymore. Yeah.
Oh, so you,
but why did you ask me that?
I was just curious to know how you deal with it.
Well, so I'm learning. So let me say this. I have a what is it called? I'm partial to men. Like I was raised by my dad to the best of his ability. I have 3 sons. Most of my friends are my homeboy, like they dudes. My favorite cousins are males. So I've had many different experiences, right? What I am learning, and actually my pastor just talked about it today, actually, that women and men, we know that we all communicate differently, right? Like it's known. What the pastor was sharing today was this, men are not able to jump all over the place. Like they focused in on one thing. So a woman can go from here to here to here to here to here to here. And they just gonna be looking aloof. Like, what in the world are you talking about? Right. But they're not gonna say nothing. And then you say, okay, you tell them all this stuff to do, and they looking like, and then you come back and it's not done, and you get frustrated and mad. Or a guy, he is a problem solver. So when we understand that dudes are problem solvers, they want to just fix the problem. They're very logical. They want to fix the problem. A woman wants the whole experience. She's about experience. What kind of experience is she going to have? So in order to help with that, right? It's important to really just be honest with the guy. Like, say, okay, listen, talk their language. This is what I'm going through. Or how are you able to show up? Like, allow them to tell you what they're going to do in order to show up, and then you help guide them in that to create the experience that you want. A lot of times we have these delusions of what a relationship.
Yeah, my man coming on a black horse, baby. Coming to get me, baby.
What a marriage should be like, or what a relationship should be like. Like the pastor said today, listen, forget all the glitz and glam of the dress and all this money, and he coming in as soon as you got makeup on. Come to roll out the bed and do the vow, so he can see what you getting and you can smell his breath. So when the I do is over, what you gonna get is what you gonna get. Can you make it through what you gonna get? But if we in La La Land, like, oh, it's gonna be so beautiful and awesome.
Because I'm telling you, I was caught up in the fantasy of getting married.
Exactly, and understanding that, because I was just sharing this with my friend, because I was like, I'm going to be married, and he said, but you've been married. Yes, I have, but I was married under a contract. I wasn't married for a covenant, and that's a different. I want the covenant. I want to be married with the covenant of God, me, him, and the covenant of God. That is what a real marriage. That's a marriage that's going to sustain itself. But when you're doing it under a contract, when people say, oh, this is just a piece of paper, or they say, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out. Or she doing the same thing, like, man, he did it. Listen, marriage is hard work. After that, I do, it's pretty much a wrap. It ain't gonna get no better than that. I do. How you gonna make it work? It's like what the pastor was saying about the kite. You flying the kite, right? The only time that kite is gonna fly high is when it's resisting, when you pulling, when it has the pressure on it, right? You're fighting against the wind and you're pulling. You're fighting against the wind and you're pulling, right? And that's a marriage. But if you just let the kite gonna fly, it's gonna glide in the wind. But eventually, what if there's no force, right? Then what's gonna happen? It's gonna fall, and it's gonna come back. And if it falls too many times, what you gonna do? I'm done. I'm out. I'm going from this man to this man to this man to this man. I'm out of here, because you ain't about to keep making me fall. But there's a beauty in when you're healing yourself, you're starting to attract what you are, right? Most times, not all the time, because sometimes we get, what's the wolf and fox clothing. Sometimes that can
fox clothing, yeah.
See, listen, that was my youngest coming up. So, but what I'm trying to say is this: sometimes, most times, what we attract is what's in us. If we want to that's our mirror. We have that in front of us. If I keep getting the same type of people, and it's not going to always be in the men, right? We're talking about relationships, we're talking about laws, we're talking about moms. But if you pay attention, you're going to end up getting something similar to what you was emotionally most connected to, right? You're going to see that all the time until you heal and work through that. Does that make sense? So you got to really do the work. It sounds like to me, you said, well, I'm not doing that anymore. That means that now you're starting to intentionally pay attention to your patterns, and you're starting to address it and work through it. That's why you're able to say, well, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing these things, but I ain't doing that anymore. It's a celebration. Right, I'm gonna celebrate you for that.
Yes. Let me ask you this question, Dr. Hazel J. If your mother and grandmother was alive today, or if they could come from heaven and pick out a man for you, what type of man would they pick out for you? Ooh. What kind of man would your grandmother and mother pick out for you right now?
Is that for me or
That's for Marnita.
okay,
Oh, for
Marnita?
me. Oh,
Yeah,
oh. You see,
that's
because
for
you
you.
said
Yes,
doctor, I
ma'am.
ain't know her to answer.
That's not you. I was looking at so you gonna answer? I'm like, I think that's for you, baby.
Right.
That's for, that's for you.
So, and it's funny you said that because they're totally different.
Okay.
My grandmother is the type of woman who accept men who are providers, who would take care of me, who would do that, but they could be cheaters.
Ooh.
So she was okay with that. My mother said they can no.
They can kick rock.
My mother is like I am. Like it once you cheat on me, I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And once I don't trust you, I can't be your woman no more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't trust you. And I tried to be in a relationship, and then when they cheated, I tried to stay in it, but it'd be horrible. My feelings,
Wow.
because I always feel you're gonna cheat. And
Okay.
and you may not cheat,
But you
but
always
that's how
feel
I
like you
feel.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Hazel, hold on for that. Charlie, can you drop a couple videos for me, please? Just give me 2 seconds, guys. Okay. We're going to come back because I want to show some more of my Mother's Day videos. Maybe I'll show the rest of them at the end. Okay. So go ahead, Dr. Hazel J, because you was about to jump out the screen. What was you going to say about that?
So I want to really just plant this. It's very important to forgive yourself for not trusting yourself and who you're choosing or who you've chosen, right? You made the choice that you did then because you're becoming someone different, right? You're no longer going to make those choices, so you don't have to worry about if not for real if they're going to cheat or if I'm going to go or if I got to jump ship, because if that's your preconceived notion, what do you think is going to happen? You going to jump ship, you going to find evidence to support that they cheating, that they no good, that they only temporary. You're going to keep finding that evidence, and we don't want to do that. It's something that I told one of my other clients. I was like, yo, if you are transforming, you are a whole different person. How are you going to still do the same type of behaviors talking about you transform? How that work?
Right.
How you going to get the man of your dreams if you still thinking and operating the same way you did before you had the man of your dream? You know what I'm saying? Like you had the ugliness of the man. How you going to do that? It ain't going, I mean, it could work. I don't know. I ain't seen it yet. Now I ain't 63 either, but I ain't seen it yet. So what I'm saying is this: it's okay that you had those experiences. So now you know what not to go for, right? But every person is a different person. Your mama and your mama is your grandma's daughter, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So more than likely, when you said, "Well, my mom is different from my grandma," your mom saw your grandma accept the fact that they were cheating and doing all these things, but they were providing, right? And so your mama, in her mind, in her little girl mind, she said, "You know what? I'm not tolerating that on any level." Which and she saw the impact that it had on her mama, which is why she made the decision to do something else. Now she was going to accept this, but she dang sure wasn't going to accept that. Right? That
she was gonna accept they had a drink, but they wasn't gonna cheat on her.
Right. And then the funny thing is that my grandfather was never a cheater, though.
Wow.
My grandfather was never a cheater.
But
and that was the odd part when my grandmother wanted me to accept somebody because she was really close to them. That's what the thing was.
She was close to them, and even though they cheated, she still
wanted
them.
Why she was close to them is because he provided her with money and all of that too, right?
Yeah,
and
so she was like, "Don't leave them."
and even with that, understanding that, because I just had this conversation with someone on my show, a single father, and he was talking about the providing piece, right? And then we went into talking about, But before you can even provide for a woman and protect a woman, you got to provide and protect yourself. So if the man is not exemplifying to you how he's providing and protecting himself, you already know off top he ain't gonna be able to do that for you anyway. And that means, really what that means is that he's cheating on himself because he ain't providing for him and protecting him. So 9 times out of 10, may he not physically cheat on you, he's going to cheat on you in other ways that's going to perhaps trigger some of the things that you've experienced before. So then having those real conversations when you first meet, like not what's your favorite color, what's your favorite drink, hey, what you like to do, but
Right.
yo, how do you handle this when these holidays come up? This is what I go through. I back down. I go into a state. I feel sad. What are you going to do to be able to help me through this? This is what I need. Sometimes I don't know how to express that. How are you able to, or how do you show up for yourself when you lost? Having those type of conversations is going to be able to help that person understand you, and you get to understand them and say, hey, you know what? This might be okay. This might be my safe person. Right. But still keeping in mind that ain't nobody perfect as much as they want to be. Nobody's going to have it all together, and being able to say, is this a real thing, or is this something that my subconscious is pulling up to provide me with evidence? Because we have evidence all over, and it's our choice to make a decision on what evidence are we looking for. Are we looking for the evidence to uplift us and get us closer to what we truly want, but we may be scared of? Or are we looking for evidence to show us what we don't like, and we use that to keep us unhappy? It's kind of like when I was on the show last time, we were talking about being married, right? And I said, yo, I want to be married. But then I was like, wait a minute. Now, do I really
want to share my bed? Do I want to share my house? My space? Dr. Hayes, hold right there for me. Charlie, are you ready to drop those videos for me, pretty please?
So, Mom, if you were here, I would run up to you, give you the biggest hug, let you know that I love you so much, I miss you so much, and that also your grandson made it. He graduated college. He's a New England Patriot. With her football loving self, she would be so ecstatic. And just let her know, Mom, sit back, relax. It's time for me to take care of you. I miss you so much. I love you, Mom.
Go ahead, drop another one for me.
Thank you, Mom. You've taught me how to be in this world. Someone that gives all of the honor and glory to the Almighty. And I thank you for your teachings, and I thank you for your patience. And thank you, Mom, for being you. A beautiful, beautiful superstar. Love you, Mom.
Go ahead, finish the rest.
Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Viola Bolden, which is right here. And I want to say thank you, Mom, for birthing me in this world, which allowed me to birth 4 children. Out of those 4 children, I have 9 grandchildren. My mom was funny. Whatever came up, came out. And I want to say thank you, and hats off to all the mothers around the world. Love you much, Mom. Bye-bye.
Hi, Mommy. Happy Mother's Day. I miss you, and I love you so much. I can remember the times I would get in bed with you, even as a grown adult. I can remember in your last days, and you was at the hospital, and again, I got in bed with you. And the nurse said, how'd you do that? I said, I spoon with my mother. I love you, Mommy.
Aw, okay. So with that being said, those were very, one of them was my little sister, the one.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It's really low.
Okay. Don't know why you can't hear me. But I'm gonna ask. Can you hear me now, Marnita?
It's very low now.
She might have to change her settings, and if she's on a.
No, somebody may have tried to call me and knock my sound down, or tried to call her and knock her sound down.
Yeah, I got mine on this. Remember, I got the mine on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, but it's
because
still.
I heard the people talk good.
Yeah, but it still can knock your sound out when somebody call you.
So you want me to go out and come back in?
No, because I'm going to close it out, but I'm asking you one question, and I hope you can hear me. if someone out there have lost their mother, what would you tell them? Can you hear me?
I don't think she can hear you.
Can
It's,
she
it's
hear?
low, but I can hear you, but it's just low.
Okay, so can you answer this question? What would you tell someone that recently lost their mother? What would you give them? What kind of advice would you give them? How to get through this loss or how to deal with this loss?
So I think how to deal with your loss is to continue to remember why your mother passed, how much you love your mother. And it's okay, because sometimes when they pass, it's better that they pass than that they just stay sick. So it's just continue to love on yourself, continue to provide and do everything that your mother has told you to do, and understand that you're going to continue to grow, you're going to continue to grow, and you're going to continue to love your mother, and your mother going to always continue to love you, no matter why they're gone physically, they're not gone emotionally.
Wow. Thank you. Dr. Hazel?
Hi.
Dr. Hazel J,
So,
can
yes.
you just wrap it up just a little bit for me, and then I'm going to do my closing.
Okay, so the question is, what would you tell someone who's lost their mom?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell it from a professional standpoint, because I know your mother is not passed, but from a professional standpoint.
So, well, I actually want to address it both when they've passed on, but also if they're alive and you're still grieving them because they're not around.
Okay,
So, right.
perfect.
So, what I would like for folks to do is to really quickly just close your eyes and take 2 deep breaths and then release. And once you do that, I want you to imagine or visualize the moment, the most special moment that you shared with your mom. What is that moment? What did that look like, sound like, and feel like? And when you're able to see that, feel that, and hear that memory, I want you to take your current self to that place and really just be there. And I want you to look at your younger self, whether it was 10 days ago, 20 years ago, whatever that time frame is, and hug her. I want you to see yourself hugging her, hugging the younger version of you and your mom. And you're hugging them. They're hugging you. And when you can see that, hear that, and feel that love and that energy, I want you just to hug yourself really quickly. Just hug yourself. So again, you're going to take your current self to one of the most beautiful memories that you shared with your mother or your mama, your grandmama, your mama figure, whatever age you were, and you're going to meet you at that age with that mother figure, that mama. And when you can see them, hear them, feel them, I want you to just hug yourself. And so when you're doing that, that's you anchoring, right? We're changing it. So when you start to have those memories or that feeling of, just put your arms close to your heart and just hug yourself. And what that's going to do is help relieve some of that. Then just go ahead and just reminisce on all the things that they've shared with you to make you become the amazing person that you are today. Because in spite of what we go through, right, in our losses, in our hurts, our disappointments, and our trauma, who we are today is a beautiful person in spite of it all. And we could not be who we are today had we not had those experiences, right? And sometimes we just have to remind ourselves, like, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to acknowledge how we're feeling, but it's okay to be able to move on, even in your pieces, to move on. But in order to get yourself back to a place of like, I'm here, she's here with me, just go back and remember and hug yourself and smile. Because letting them rest It's not letting them go. You can let them rest, right? When we say rest in peace, what does that mean? What does that really mean when we say rest in peace?
We don't have to have that tug of war no more.
We don't have to tug anymore. Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Hazel J. My closing thoughts, and I appreciate both of you for being here with me. I know I'm be pulling on Dr. Hazel J. We're gonna do a lot more things together because it's so amazing to have her on here. And my friend Marnita has gone through so much, and I just needed to put her on here to talk about it and to release. My closing thoughts as we wrap up today's episode. I want to remind everyone that grief is a journey, not a destination. There will be good days and bad days, and that's okay. If you're dating over 50 and navigating Mother's Day without your mom, please know that you're not alone. It's okay to feel sad, to miss her, and to honor her memory in your own way. But also remember your own strength and resilience. You've navigated life challenges before, and you can navigate this too. Keep your heart open to connection. Be kind to yourself and trust that healing is possible. Your mother would want you to find happiness and love, and it's okay to pursue that, even as you continue to carry her memory with you. I appreciate all the people that sent in their videos to honor their mothers. We have to continue to honor our moms and be the best moms that we can be to our children. Even if you got children out there that are having that tug of war, as Dr. Hazel J say, we just pray that they come around one day. Remember that this is Tanya R. Lewis with the Diary of Dating Over 50, and I advocate for human trafficking. We have our event coming up June 28th in Cleveland, Ohio, and the young lady that I had on here with me tonight, Marnita, she is my greatest adversary, if you want to call it, to help me conquer this thing in Cleveland, because some people don't think it can be done, but we have proof. It's going to be done. So look forward to that soon. And our next episode will be May 18th. And the slogan of my show is there hope or is it a joke? I will have 3 married couples on here, and we're going to navigate, and they're going to motivate us to how to stay married and date, because you have to date when you're married as well. Again, this is Tanya R. Lewis with the Diary of Dating Over 50, and I'll see you guys next week. Happy Mother's Day to all of us out there. Thank you.
The hottest dating show on social media, hosted by the sassiest model of them all, Tanya R. Lewis. Are you 50 and single, dating or waiting to mingle? Be a guest on the Diary of Dating Over 50 with your host, Tanya R. Lewis.